My name is Pedro Morales, and I'm a second year MTS, Master of Theological Studies student at Harvard Divinity School. We want to accomplish a renewed sense of commitment to social justice causes. In this particular case, we believe strongly that a yes vote for both questions 3 and 4 are two sides of the same social justice coin. And as people of faith, as ministers, as rabbis, as imams, you cannot ask to just do one and not the other, because both affect deeply the communities our rabbis and ministers serve. So what we want to do is to bridge those narratives into one single narrative of justice, especially economic justice, and that is what at the root of the division and of the inequality that we have worked for so long. Many people before us, like we were told by Reverend Virgil Wood that this is an old fight. This is an old fight. That he has those moments that every generation have to rise up. And I think, will do great service to ourselves and to our communities if we are not blinded by the sleek advertisement, the empty promises of some sort of panacea or benefits, when we know for sure they're lies. It's outright lies, and we need to call them out. Well, the beautiful thing is that we actually work throughout in many communities in the Commonwealth, and this is a very powerful place to send a message from. And we have already worked and organized in many communities, from Worcester to Bedford, Lawrence, and all kinds of places. But it doesn't have the same, local, absolutely. But we need a center, and Cambridge and Harvard is a center. It's a center where people have, for generations and hundreds of years now, come together. A place that people recognize as a place where things happen, where history is made. And tonight was one of those occasions, because in the almost 380-year history of this university, such service as the one you witnessed tonight has not actually occurred, to our knowledge. A call to prayer in Arabic, a closing of a benediction in Hebrew, and in between Spanish and English and Catholic and Protestants of all kinds of denominations joining forces. That's really unheard of, you must agree. And this is the place where things happen. We also come from, people think Harvard was all privilege and power. No, I was a street kid. I was a street kid from Mexico. I was rescued by a church, and ended up, with their help, here. So the word of all these preachers and all these ministers and all the people that work with them matters tremendously. I would not be here if it wasn't for the kindness and the love of all those folks. And now we at Harvard, me as a student, somebody that comes from nothing, absolutely nothing, I have this tremendous sense of responsibility to give back and to show a new face of this university, a new way of being in this university, and using these powerful spaces for the benefit of the oppressed and the systematically downtrodden, and the systematically people that have set aside, that have been let out of the tremendous wealth and opportunity that this nation has to offer. And that's not a new message. That's an old message that I'm taking on, and all of us are taking on as our own, because we care, because we love, because we have our next generations to look after, and that flame and that fight will not end, and it will not ever be in vain. This effort is called, our group is called Stand for Democracy, and you can find us at standfordemocracy.com and .org. And there's also the other teaming partner that we have is the Rise Up Massachusetts, or through MCAN, Massachusetts Community Action Network, MCAN. So you can go to those sites, .org, MCAN.org and riseupmass.org, and you can find our efforts on question 4 for the workers and the benefit of the workers, and question 3, our efforts to repeal the casino law to prevent them from actually establishing themselves.
Critical mass of people.
Thank you.
Well, thrilling is the first word I would use. I mean, we have never had, I've been at Harvard for 45 years. We've never had a service in Memorial Church that's this inclusive of all these different faith groups. I mean, we had tonight, not in the leadership, but in the congregation, we had Buddhists,
Yes.
Mormons, Muslims, Baptists, Episcopalians, Jews, and there's never been that inclusive a group. And what it does is to tell me that there are some issues that are so pressing and so urgent that we can set aside some of the superficial differences and really go for the underlying point here. Look at what those, I mean, there was a Catholic bishop up there tonight, and a Pentecostal pastor, and the imam. I mean, all there. I found it really moving and thrilling, I must say. Once these people get to meet each other, a lot of them never met before. Once they get to meet each other and get to know each other, and when they realize they can work together on things, there are other issues we got to face too. Other issues in addition to these.
Oh, really?
Sick pay, of course,
Sick pay,
casinos. Yeah. I mean, there's all the other things that we can think about and work on together. So I really think that's going to be one of the results, one of the indirect results of this particular meeting. We will probably try to have some of these in other places, but this, you know, it was my students who started this thing going. Pedro Morales and Sun Hakim. They're the ones who really started it, and I'm so proud of them that these students are doing this.
And what is your full title here?
It's a Hollis Research Professor of Divinity.
My name is Miriam Sergio, and I'm the pastor of Resurrection Lutheran Church, which is our mother church is the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America.
What was it like to be a part of such an interfaith gathering this evening?
Oh, wonderful. But I've always been involved in interfaith organizations. From New York, I live in New York before, and I live in different parts of the country, but most of the work that I did were in New York politics, and interfaith has always been part of my, how would I say, cup of tea? Okay. So
why are events like this important?
it's very important because it's very, number one, it's informative for those people who are still not very clear on the issues. And then it's very educational because people can hear some first-hand stories. And then in addition to that, it helps people to go out now and then go tell others. Now they are now going to be the evangelists. Okay, and some of us have already started our evangelism, but now it's good to get other people motivated so that they can go out there and be the voice for the voiceless. That's what we are.
Are there advantages to working with different people from different faiths?
Definitely. You tend to, you see what, one of the things that I personally have realized is that really we are all about the same thing. We tend to get the differences, dwell on the differences instead of dwelling on what we have in common. So as far as I'm concerned, as a pastor in Roxbury, I have people from all different faiths coming to me for counseling. When they're in crisis, problems don't care what denomination or what faith you are. They walk in through that door because where the church is very strategically located. We are right near Dudley Square. About 5 buses stop in front of the church. So I'm always seeing people, walking in when they're in crisis, Muslims, Buddhists, Catholics, you name it. They all, they walk through that door when they're in crisis, and I sit down and, counsel them and try to help them, because the common denominator is that we are all children of the same God. We are created in the image of God. That's the bottom line.
It was beautiful, actually. It was very, very nice. There's a spiritual component to my work anyway, so I have a strong spiritual side, and so I didn't feel out of place, and it was fun to actually go at the end and do a little humor. It's a lot of fun, and I've been lucky that I'm able to use entertainment and humor for purposes beyond just entertainment. That's what I'm most passionate about now. And I'm going to be working at the Sanders Theater actually, January 3rd. Yeah.
So people want to hear some more.
Yeah, come on down to Sanders Theater. And the name of it is Humor for Humanity. Humor for humanity. Humor in helping, humor in healing, humor and hope. Ha ha ha. JimmyTingle.com. I'm at Twitter at Jimmy Tingle.
It's the only way. God made us to be social people, and His values is to love your neighbor and to know your neighbor, and it's the only way to be effective, because no one group, no one faith, no one color is strong enough on their own to mount the challenges to the forces of principalities that we need to change.
Yes, I sure would. I'm delighted. God has resourced every group, right? So that what we are trying to deal with, the predicament, the human predicament, cannot be handled by any one little group. That's number one. Number two, I like to call what we're doing here the Shepherd's Round Table. The Shepherd's Round Table. You get the Christians, you get the Jews, you get the Muslims, you get everybody else eventually. We don't come together to talk theology. And in my work with the round table, called the Jubilee Round Table, no theology talk in this place. But the talk is, what is there that I can do from my perspective to help fix what's broke? So the only thing we talk about when we come together is what's broke, how can we fix it? That if we need to get clarification on some theological fine point, go back into your cubicle and work that out, then come back and tell us what is the practical application of what you've just said.
And judging by tonight's gathering, do you plan on doing more collaboration together like this in the future?
We have to.
We must.
Okay.
I'm sure we will.
Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you. Thank you for asking us.
Indeed. Thank you. Hey, man.